Hey guys, I don't need to tell you all this, but I did have a video that I made while I was drunk last night that I was going to put up. I may or may not, probably won't. But I'm making this video because I got off the phone with a friend just a little bit ago, and she needed somebody to talk to. Going through what a lot of people go through, rejection. Not necessarily a breakup, more like being told not interested after putting a lot of effort in. And that's something I really felt needed to be addressed. So it seems like a lot of people haven't learned this. And if you have, well, stop. Just turn it off once you realize you've learned what I've talked about. Because you don't need me to tell me again. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But the fact is people a lot of times look back at how everything went down and what they did. Now, you find yourself in a lot of pain, of course, because you've bared your soul, your heart, or whatever you want to call it. You bared everything, or most of who you are, the deep, dark parts, and they see it and they tell you, I'm not interested in that. And so it hurts. It's like somebody just jammed a blender into your chest with nothing to guard the blades while it's on. And that sucks. But you cannot tell yourself there was anything you could have done different, or there was anything you should have done different. There was nothing you could have done different. There was nothing you should have done different. I'm telling you that right now. You can disagree with me all you want. It's fact. Because you didn't know then what you know now. And even if you did know then what you know now, so long as you're showing this person who you are and trying to have a relationship with them as an honest and open human being, they would have rejected you either way because you were not what they were looking for. Doesn't matter if you go out and stand on your head and run around in circles. If you're not what you're looking for, you're not what, if you're not what they're looking for, you're not what they're looking for. And no matter what you had done, wouldn't have changed that. And on top of that, you couldn't have done anything different because you didn't have access to doing something different. A lot of people like to look back, and don't get me wrong, I am guilty of it myself. That's kind of what's a big part of what made me realize this. A lot of people like to look back when they get rejected or they get broken up with and be like, oh, well, I should have done this different, I should have done that different. You couldn't have. There was no other choice. Hell, most of the stuff you were thinking about, well, I should have done that, I should have done that, you thought about doing that at the time and decided that was not appropriate for the situation and would not, wasn't going to give you a good result. You're smarter than you think, and you gotta trust yourself. You gotta realize you took the information you had, you took the situation, you took everything there was available to work with at the time for you, and you did what you thought would be the best course of action. So you couldn't have done anything different. You couldn't have. And 90% of the different solutions that you think would have made things better, first off, wouldn't have, because they're not rejecting your actions. It's not a video game. There is no right answer. They're rejecting you as a human being, and it sucks and it hurts, and nobody deserves to go through that pain, but life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what it gives you, and we learn to deal with it. Trust me. If life gave people what they deserved, there would be no people, because no one deserves to deal with the insanity of raising another human being. Like, I am not a parent, okay, so I don't know the struggle of it nearly as well as anybody. I'm just speaking from my own experience as being a horrible child. Because, yeah, my mom had to put up with a lot of shit with me. I'm still a very willful person. If I decide I'm doing something a certain way, I'm doing something a certain fucking way. Like, that's just how I am. Now, imagine trying to deal with a toddler like that, or even a fucking teenager like that. You know, I was a horrible child. I mean, I'm not saying I went out of my way to make my mom's life fucking a pain. She didn't deserve half the shit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, life doesn't give us what we deserve, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. And you're enough. That's another thing people need to understand. You are enough. This situation makes you feel like you're not, like there's something wrong with you. But you are who you are, and you'll grow from this, whether you think so or not. But you are enough. You always have been, you always will be. Just because somebody isn't looking for what you have to offer doesn't make you not enough. So try not to think you aren't. I know it's hard when you get rejected, it hurts. And that's how it works, that's how love works. When you're trying to find love, that's just how it works. If you want love, you gotta risk the pain and the hurt. And honestly, if you decide to cut yourself off from love, you're still gonna hurt, because humans need love. It's a paradox. It really is. We are a fucking walking, talking paradox and a bunch of hypocrites. That's what we are. So, yeah, there's gonna be pain. That's life. But always remember, as a person, you are enough. And just because you're rejected doesn't change that. It just means you weren't what they were looking for. And while it sucks and hurts, there's nothing different you could have done. You did everything you could have done. And it doesn't matter even if there had been, which there wasn't, but if there had been, wouldn't matter, because you presented who you were to them, and they said, that's not what I want. And yeah, that sucks, but you're better off for it, because you don't want to be in a relationship that isn't you and them fully committed and in love with each other through the good times and the bad. Because even if you have a loving family and a happy life, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be truly deep down happy if you're not fulfilled. That's where I was like, you want a fulfilling relationship. You want something that's going to be as happy and as amazing as it can be. And I'm going to cut this short, because that's my friend texting me over and over again. So I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to see what she wants. Alright. As I always say, guys, if you have a positive attitude, you have a positive day. Peace.